Raise your hands if you're ready to talk about some Prince. I know I am. Let's go. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Freakopotamus podcast. How's everybody doing today? Anybody feeling the funk out there? I know I am. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day, good night, good evening, whatever the case may be. Good morning. I just wanted to jump on and I just wanted to talk straight from the cuff. I'm going to try to keep edits down to a minimum. I'm just going to talk to you like we're having drinks over dinner as much as possible. So anyway, I don't really have much Prince news to share that you don't already know. Over the last couple of weeks, I know that everybody's learned about the family taking control of the estate, which I'm sure everybody has mixed opinions about. And I just want to say, I hope that good things come out of this and that, you know, at the end of the day, all the fans are happy and Prince's legacy lives on and his wishes are respected, and that we see some good material coming out of the vaults. So we're not going to talk about that. Everybody knows that news. So what I wanted to talk about was, I mentioned in the first episode that in the future I would talk about how I came to like Prince and my Prince experiences over the years. And as I mentioned before, I became a fan when I was about 14 years old, right along the time the Controversy album came out. My best friend at the time, this is hilarious, he had borrowed his mom's wig, and it was a processed wig, and he put on some leg warmers and he was dancing around the house one day when I was there, and I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? So anyway, he told me about this guy named Prince, and he played the Controversy album for me. And so I was like, this dude is different. This dude is unique. And so that was my first introduction to Prince. I had heard of Prince years before, when I Want to Be Your Lover came out, and I really didn't pay that much attention for some odd reason. I guess I was into other things, sports and whatnot. But anyway, so this guy was dancing around in his mom's wig, and it was just hilarious. But because of that, and him playing the Controversy album for me, that totally changed my life and changed my taste in music. Like, Prince was just like no other in my book. So yeah, and shortly after that, the 1999 album came out, and I was just blown away. It was a double album, and in 1982, to hear a double album was pretty unusual. But like from start to finish, that entire album was just like nothing I'd ever heard before. And so later that year, the 1999 tour rolled around, and our parents got tickets for us. Now, we were like 14 years old, talking about going to see Prince. At that time, Prince was a little controversial, and he sang a lot of sexual songs. And so our parents were like, I don't really think they knew much about Prince. And so they just took our word for it that he was like this immaculate artist, and we just wanted to go to a concert. So we went to the concert. We went to the 1999 tour. It was Prince. Prince was the closing act. Vanity 6 was the opening act. The time was after Vanity 6 and Prince came on last. Blew me away. I had been to concerts before, but that concert was just out of this world. I can't even explain the feeling. So that was my very, very first concert. And this is a funny story. I remember my friend's dad dropped us off at the concert. We were too young to drive at the time. And so after the concert, we were waiting for our ride to come pick us up. We were waiting and waiting and waiting. We were like the last ones at the venue, and it was super late. It was like, concert was over 10 or 11 o'clock probably. But I don't know what happened to our ride. Like his dad fell asleep or something, and we were just stuck at the venue waiting and waiting and waiting. So all of a sudden, this guy comes walking down the sidewalk with a girl. And you remember Morris Day on the cover of the What Time Is It album, in that jacket that he had on? Well, this guy had on the jacket, and I looked and I was like, dude, I think that's Morris Day. So as they walked past, he kind of pulled up his lapel to cover his face, like he didn't want to be recognized or whatever. So I was like, dude, I think that's Morris Day. I think he just walked past us. He was like, no, that can't be Morris Day. Not walking the streets like that, just willy-nilly. And so I was like, yeah, I think that's Morris Day. That's a jacket. I mean, how many people in this world have that jacket? That's the jacket from the album. So I was like, say something. So my friend yelled out, what time is it? Morris turned around, started laughing, right? I was like, that's gotta be him. That's gotta be him. My friend was like, no, that's not him. That's not him. That's not him. So I was like, okay. So we kept walking, trying to find like something to eat. And all of a sudden we saw this crowd gathered at the bottom of this hotel, right? Across from the venue that the concert was at. And there was this guy up in the window, like throwing money out of the window. And like there was a crowd gathered at the bottom on the sidewalk. And all of a sudden the window opened, right? And we heard this voice asking the crowd, like, what y'all want? What y'all want? What y'all want? And they were just chanting his name, like, Morris Day, Morris Day, Morris Day, throw more money, throw more money. And he was just chunking like change and like $1 bills and $5 bills out of the window. That right there confirmed that that was indeed Mr. Morris Day. So that was my story for the 1999 tour. And I tell you, after that, I was hooked. Like my friend and I, funny, we started adopting Prince's style. And so we were dressing that way. We were in high school at the time, and a lot of people were dressing that way. Prince had so much influence on young people back in the day. I mean, you're talking 82, 83, and you know, it's amazing how much influence he had on fashion and his look. Just it was incredible. So that's what we were doing at the time. You know, during the 1999 era, Prince was rocking the curl, the loose Jerry curl. And so a lot of guys were rocking the loose Jerry curl. And so my friend, he had processed his hair and he was doing the Morris Day thing. I can count how many fights my friend got into over jealousy from other dudes. I mean, girls were loving it, but dudes weren't having it. And I remember I remember a lot of things that people used to say towards us, especially from dudes. It was hilarious, but that's what we were into. I mean, we thought it was the coolest thing. Like, I was probably one of the few white guys who rocked a Jerry curl at the time. And I remember when I would buy products for my hair, right? I would buy the black products like Carefree Curl Activator and Moisturizer, and I'd be spraying, and I was rocking the high collars and the skinny ties and the boots and the chains. It was just, he just had a tight grip on us in high school. And when I see people that I went to school with today, they remind me of that. They were like, dude, Prince had your ass. So that continued for quite a few years. Let's jump forward to '86 when Under the Cherry Moon came out. I remember there was this talent show that we did, and we rehearsed and practiced the Kiss 12-inch version. And so we did that song at a performance in front of a crowd of people at this local high school, right? Because like the main attraction was Dana Dane. Remember Dana Dane? Rapper from back in the day? Like, he was the headliner and we were the opening act. And so yeah, we lip synced the 12-inch to Kiss. And as always, dudes were jealous, girls were loving it. And I think that night we literally, after we performed, had to run off stage, run out of the school, jump in our cars, and get the hell out of there. Dudes were not having it. So flash forward to 1988, the Love Sexy tour. I remember going to the Love Sexy tour in Charlotte, and my friend and I, we were diehards, man. We would show up at the venue like early in the day just to see the buses come in and hopefully get a glimpse of maybe Prince and the band getting off the bus and going into the venue for rehearsal or whatever. So we showed up early that day just to check out the buses and stuff. And I can remember looking down at the buses, and like the buses had names. Like, I think Prince had named his tour buses at the time like Divinity, Destiny, Majesty, or something to that effect. But anyway, that was an incredible time. And we were hoping for an after show that night, but this is back during the days of no social media, so we had absolutely no clue of what was going on. So yeah. 1997, the Jam of the Year tour. I remember I was living in Maryland at the time, about 4 miles away from Baltimore. And this was when the AOL chat rooms were popular, and Prince was supposedly hanging out on AOL. MPG 2000 was supposedly his username at the time. And there was this Prince chat room, and the fans would communicate with each other. And I'd gotten to know some people in the area pretty well at the time, and I had gotten an email from somebody that had won some tickets off of the radio and offered them to me, and told me that if I showed up at the Baltimore Arena at the box office, those tickets would be waiting on me. So I went, and Sure enough, tickets were at the box office with my name on them, and I was 4th row for the Jam of the Year tour. And I remember the excitement. I mean, there was nothing like a Prince concert, man. Just knowing that he was coming to town, and like so much excitement built up in you. And I remember multiple concerts where, you know, dudes would be in the parking lot like selling t-shirts and whatnot. They would come up to your car trying to sell you t-shirts. It was just so much excitement, man. And so after that particular concert in Baltimore in '97, at the end of the concert, they made an announcement that the after party was going to be at Club Dinosaurs in Laurel, Maryland. I knew exactly where that was. Laurel was like just a few miles from where I lived. So I was like, I'm so there. So when I got there, right,